Hey guys, Prowl1701 here. Today we're going to be reviewing part 1 of Vengeance on Varos with the 6th Doctor. Now I have seen this one before, and I've often touted it as my favorite 6th Doctor story. So it's nice giving it a rewatch because I haven't seen it in a while. Oddly enough, I didn't own any of Season 2 before the box set came out. Any of Season 22 before the box set came out. The only Colin Baker story I had on DVD was Twin Dilemma, which was technically Season 21. So I didn't have any other Colin stories until the Season 23 box set came out. So it's been nice watching the episodes I haven't seen so far, although I still haven't watched Mark of the Rani yet, and rewatching the others because I haven't seen them in a while since I didn't own them either. But Vengeance, oddly enough, as much as I like it, like watching part 1 when I was getting ready to do the review, I didn't have a lot to say. I can't think of just a lot of those things that I just wanted to, oh, this is awesome, there wasn't a lot of that. I do like the cliffhanger a lot. The cliffhanger for part 1 is really, really good. I like how it ends, looking basically like the Doctor died. First off, the effects to make it look like he's seeing the desert when it's creating that illusion of the desert, that looks really good. Like, I'd almost wonder, is this updated special effects? Because it looks good when he sees the desert there, kinda, and then when he's on the ground and it shows the side shot of him with the desert kind of there, but you can also see the little hallway behind it, like the desert's kind of superimposed over it. That's a really neat effect, especially for classic Doctor Who. I think that holds up really well, and I really like that. And then watching the Doctor as he slowly looks like he's just, dying from heat exhaustion, that's some good acting on Colin's part. And that final shot of him when he's just like on the ground and he's just like, that's really, really good. I don't know why, just the way Colin does that and the directing of the way he's just laying there not moving. I mean, he looks dead. That's an impressive cliffhanger. It's one of those times when people are like, Season 22 is so violent and so dark and not kid-friendly. That's one of those moments where I can be like, I see where you're coming from. It's kind of tame by today's standards, but I can see where you're coming from for then. And I think it holds up really well. That was a really good cliffhanger, and I really liked it. I also really like right at the beginning when the TARDIS first materializes and they walk outside the TARDIS and the guards walking around to check the TARDIS, and they just kind of pop around the corner. The Doctor and Perry just kind of, hello, pop around the corner. I've seen people make some memes of that when they both just pop around the corner with a smile. I absolutely love reading memes from that. It's like when your neighbors are having an argument, but it's one of those good arguments, and it shows them. I like that. I don't know, but I do. And of course, Seal is great. Seal is definitely one of the things that helps make this story. The actor, I cannot pronounce the actor's name. I know it. It begins, it's like Nabir. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. He plays this role so well. What he does with the voice, that laugh. Apparently he came up with the laugh. That little laugh he does is so good. It's slimy and creepy, much like the character, which is very fitting. Syl is kind of a slimy, slug-like creature, but he kind of metaphorically is too. He strikes me as an American capitalist, though to be fair, he kind of just strikes me as a capitalist, but I haven't been to the other countries, so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. He strikes me as, it's almost like this episode is just flat out taking a shot at 80s capitalism, which to be fair is also a lot like today's capitalism, and about how corporate greed and how a lot of the corporate higher-ups, they don't really care about everyone else. Well, I'll give you this much for this. It's only worth this much when it's actually worth this much. Yeah. So I like the little attacks on that, because again, a lot of these business executives do strike you as these sleazy, slimy, conniving pricks. And that's pretty much slug-like characters, which is what Syl is, and that's realized really well. One, just in concept, he's realized really well. His design, his costume looks so good, the way it looks like he's slimy. Like, they must have sprayed him down with, water all the time to keep him slick looking. The little tank he's on, and the actor playing the character, all of that combines to create one of the best villains to come out of Doctor Who in the 80s, even though he's not a villain like, say, the Daleks. He's a much more relatable villain. Where, like, if the Daleks were supposed to kind of represent, you know, a Doctor Who take on the World War II Germans, then Syl, to me, definitely is a take on just the stereotypical corporate businessman. And I enjoy that. It's a really neat character. I don't really care much for the rebel character and his wife. They're just kind of at this point. The guy playing the president is pretty cool. Or the governor, I guess he's called. The governor, I like him. The actor's doing a good job with him. I like that little vote system. I want that vote system. Especially considering the president we have now. At least I'm an American in my country. I would love that vote system. You wouldn't have to do like a little heat ray or anything, though. If his vote is defeated, just put a set of stairs in front of him. He's not very good at managing stairs. Stairs are tricky for him. Just set like one of those up. 2 or 3 of those, we can get another president in. I'm being morbidly silly today. For the record, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, if anyone wants to know. I tend to judge issues based on the actual issue. It's a novel idea, isn't it? But it's neat how Vengeance kind of predicts that form of television, like reality TV and stuff like that, where TV just consumes their lives, and it's all about what more content can we get out. It doesn't matter if it's good, let's just get out more content. That's kind of the path the Star Wars stuff is taking these days. More content, we got to get more content. Feed the masses, feed them, keep them entertained so they won't notice what we're doing over here. Sometimes I wonder if Disney and the politicians work together. But it's interesting how this show that came out in 1985 kind of predicts how all-consuming television has become, which it kind of was even in the 80s, but even more so now. And not just television, but all of the media, you know, the internet, the YouTube, you know, and I realize the irony of me saying that, Twitter and TikTok and all that stuff, Facebook, and just how all-consuming social media and all that is now, and reality TV and all of that. That's really interesting to see. I really haven't talked a lot about the story, but to be honest, it's more those things that appeal to me than the actual story. The set designs are okay. They look like 80s Doctor Who set designs. They're fine. I do think the little go-kart thing they're riding around on, I don't know what it was with 80s Doctor Who's fixation on stuff like that, because you kind of see the little cleaner units. They remind me of the cleaner units from Paradise Towers and the little go-kart machines from Happiness Patrol. They just look these little go-kart interior things. I guess John Nathan Turner liked those. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I need to watch part 2. Because I remember, I love Vengeance a lot, but it hasn't quite lived up to my perception of it on rewatch. Maybe it's just because I've seen so much of Colin's other stuff recently. But while I'm still enjoying it, it's not like my favorite Colin story right now, so I need to see if maybe part 2 can save it. So that's my thoughts on part 1 of Vengeance on Varos. What do you think of this story? Comment down below and let me know, because I always enjoy hearing from you guys. Other things to do. Click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out. Helps me grow the channel. There's a lot of things I'd like to do with the channel, but I can't do until it gets a little larger, so I appreciate you helping me out with that. I also have a Patreon if you would like to support me on that. I definitely appreciate that, so check that out if you have a moment. I want to give a shout out to 2 of my top tier patrons, Stephen Crane and the 5th Doctor. I appreciate their continued support, as well as the support of all of my other patrons. Thank you very much. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me, as well as a link to my Amazon wish list, which I update regularly, down in the description as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.